Hi, it's Jessi. This is my Whateverthon 48-hour Readathon portion weekend vlog. I'm sitting on the floor because I recently have been editing some videos and I realized that if I sit on this couch, every time I move it makes a god-awful sound. And I don't like that for me and I don't like that for you. So we're on the floor here and we're gonna talk books. For this weekend, let's just quickly go over my plans before I get into the rest of the vlog. I have a big date tomorrow. I'm gonna be gone most of the day. I'm really excited about it. But that means I don't know how much reading realistically I'm actually gonna get done unless I can convince my partner to let me listen to audiobooks in the car, which probably won't happen. But I'm gonna try to get through a couple of books. So here is my bingo sheet so far. It's in black and white because I feel guilty when I use the color printing at work for non-work related events. Most of it is checked off already. We're a little more than a week into the month and I've been doing really good, but there's a few of them not checked off that I want to work on finishing. So I don't have the book I'm on it. Okay. So first on there I need to still check off is recently hauled. Now because most of my books I get from the library, really I could have checked this off at any point, but the book I'm currently reading that I want to finish for recently hauled is Magic is for Liars by Sarah Gailey. I picked this up from the library like a week ago and just, I'm a little bit into it already. I don't know, maybe a third of the way into it already. But I'd like to finish this. That'll check off recently hauled for me. Next on here that I still need, Weapon on the Cover. I have In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Jen Wong. Also picked up very recently from the library. She has a sword here, but also like here she's got a cool axe in. Here she's got a cool axe. And also for trying to read this quickly in a weekend, graphic novel, great idea. Next prompt I still haven't read is Different Format. And I do have a hold on an ebook I could read for this, but I picked up Soft Science by Franny Choi from the library at the mid-end of May when they still had their AAPI display up. And this is poetry, and I don't read a lot of poetry. So I'm gonna try to knock this out again, should be fairly quick, for Different Format. And that leaves me with just a couple prompts. So complete a personal goal. If I finish those 3, I think that'll take me over 10 books, which was my goal for the month. So that would finish that out. Join the 48-hour readathon, working on that. And then host fave is the only other one. So I have a plan to go to the library today. The car is in the shop, but once it gets out of the shop, I'm going to go to the library and I have a list of all the host faves that sound interesting to me. And I'm just going to kind of go through the library, see what I have. I also currently, if we're looking at other stuff I might read, have this stack of books out already from the library. This is about the order I'm prioritizing them. I really, really want to read Ace. I haven't read it yet, and I really want to. So this are possible. Oh, you can't read those because of the glare. It's Ace by Angela Chen. That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnston, and Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. I also have a couple holds at the library I'll be picking up when I'm there, so those might make their way into this. And of course, I have audiobooks going that may or may not jump in. I have kind of a side goal, so I'm on the Shelf Slayers, but I have kind of a side goal to try, maybe, to read the prompts from the other teams, just for the fun of it, just so I have new prompts to try to fulfill. So if I finish this bingo board, I'm going to make a new bingo board off of all of the team prompts and kind of work from there. So we'll see if we get to that point. But this has been a very long intro to a vlog, so I'm just going to skip to some B-roll, I guess. making some waffles. I meant to update last night and didn't, but that's okay. We are at this point about 12 hours into the 48-hour period, and I have not finished a single book. But let me talk you through where I am so far. Magic for Liars, I am decently into, 200 pages into. I am enjoying this, but I think is where to go with this. One thing I'm liking is there's like a noir detective tone to it that I'm liking a lot more than I expected to. It's definitely not something I've ever thought to look for. I have enjoyed that a lot, even though it's not something I ever expected to like. What I'm not liking is the school setting. What I am finding that I don't know why I didn't expect this, because I know myself and I should know this about me, that when I know about something, I get really annoyed when media portrays it incorrectly. This is why sci-fi historically has not done well for me, because I get annoyed at how incorrectly they represent science. So I don't know why I thought school settings would not be the same thing, but I get so annoyed when our main character makes an assumption about teachers and the book goes along with it and it's just not accurate to how teachers are. Very frustrating, really. Even if it's a very silly thing to be getting annoyed about. That's really it for my thoughts on that. For the other things I've got going right now, I am pretty close to the end of Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which I'm not liking as much as I thought I would, which is frustrating. It's frustrating not to be getting the experience I wanted or expected to get. It's frustrating. One thing I'm finding is that the stories are much more interconnected than I expected them to be. I really expected this to be like 4 or 5 distinct stories that just happen to revolve around this cafe and, time travel and wanting to go back. But it's really about the cafe and it's about the people that run the cafe. So there is a very coherent story throughout the whole thing about these people and the cafe they run. And I was not expecting that, and it's not really what I wanted, and it's a little disappointing for me because it's not what I went in looking for. Having adjusted my expectations, it's fine. I think I got the theme it was going for pretty early on, and I'm getting kind of frustrated with just having that repeated over and over. But we shall see when that finishes. I also started Claire Kahn's new book, the name of which I can't remember right now, but it's an ace romance, and I'm really, really excited for that. So I'll update you when I'm a little further into that because I just started it, but I'm excited for it conceptually, even if I'm only like a couple chapters in. Another 12 hours in. Not a lot has changed. Still working on Magic for Liars. I am decently into it. I will definitely finish tonight. I did finish Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and I feel like my initial analysis thoughts on it basically stand. I thought the writing, and I think this was probably a translation thing, the writing was really simple, and there were sometimes mistakes, which was weird, like, at one point there was like an adjective that was, put in the superlative form, but it added est when it definitely should have been a most thing, stuff like that. Or there's big section. The like last one is about a pregnant woman, and every time they referred to her going to the hospital, it left out the article. So it's like she goes to hospital when she's in hospital. It's like I think it's probably a translation thing. But beyond the writing style just not working, I also thought it was like overly simplistic. It was very just everything was very explicit. He did this, she did this, and then this happened. Um, so I think that was part of it, but then it also was just it just laid everything out there. I got the theme from the first chapter, the first section, the first story, whatever you call it. And then you're hit over the head with it every single story. And then at the end, he just like explicitly says it like, this is what you're supposed to have learned. And I don't like books that treat me like I'm stupid, you know? Also, there was like a weird part that kind of made me a little uncomfortable at one point, but I'm gonna assume that's my personal prejudices reading into something, like my own like history making me read something that wasn't necessarily there. Um, I think that basically covers my thoughts on it. It ended up being like a 2 3/4 stars, just shy of 3-star book read for me. It was fine. Um, and that's it. I don't really have a lot of update, but that's where I'm at. I'm really tired. It's been a long day. Good day. A long day. So I'm really tired. I'm gonna finish this so that I can knock another book off. Oh, I didn't fill out the form for when the coffee gets cold. I'm gonna do that now. And then I'll finish this. Getting kind of a late start today. It is Sunday. I think there's about 9-10 hours left in this readathon, at least assuming I understand the times correctly from when this started. I did last night finish, it's over there, I'm not gonna get it, finish Magic for Liars. I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it, you know. The ending was nice, the mystery was fun. I think Sarah Gately does a really good job of like leading the reader through the mystery. Like there's breadcrumbs so that at the end you're not like surprised, which is fine. And you can see how it got there. Now, I don't read a lot of mysteries, so like I don't know if that's what people look for. For me, I like that. I like, even if I don't solve it, I like seeing how I could have solved it if I was like trying to, or paying attention, or putting in that effort. I don't like an Agatha Christie style mystery where it's like there's no way I could have put those pieces together. No. I like having those like breadcrumbs. So I think they did a really good job with that. Ivy is a fantastic protagonist. I really enjoyed her. So that was really good, but I shouldn't have swiped that notification away. I don't know why I thought that was the right thing to do when I'm filming on my phone. I'm still getting used to this. So I really liked that. That finished up, recently hauled, plus a 48-hour readathon. So, and it was my 10th book, so completed a personal goal. And that got me like a cascade of bingos. I gotta double check because I think I didn't count enough, so next time I put a book in, I might have to add more bingos on that. I did start Soft Science, but I haven't finished it. I expected to just knock it out last night, but these poems are like complicated. So I have not read through them as quickly as I expected to, and then I read them some more this morning, doing some reading sprints I caught like the last 20 minutes of a reading sprint, so I'm liking it a lot. I think it's really interesting. I've read like most of the poems like twice, 2-3 times before moving on to try to make sure I get them, and they're really interesting, and there's some beautiful moments in here that are just like, I don't know, I'm not sure I'm getting the literal meaning of what's going on in these, but I do think I'm getting the feeling of them, and I think that's probably more important. So I've been like marking like stanzas or lines or whatever that are really interesting to me, and here's the first one, just to give you a taste of this kind of poetry. My memory goes back 29 years, 26 if you don't count the first few, though by all accounts I was there. I ate and moved and even spoke. I suppose I existed before that, as a scrap or stone, metal cooking in the earth, the fish my mother ate, my grandfather's cigarettes. I suppose I have always been here, drinking the same water, falling from the sky, then floating, back up and down again. I suppose I am something like a salmon, climbing up the river to let myself fall away in soft red spheres and then rotting. It's just, I don't know. It's deep. But I will finish this one today for sure. And then I will start either in real life or one by one. I'll probably do in real life because I can finish that today too, and then start one by one. And those two will finish up the bingo board for me, so that's where I'm at. I don't think I recorded any B-roll today, so we're just gonna have to deal with that. It is now the end of the 8-hour portion of the Whateverthon Readathon. I don't really understand what the point of the 48 hours in the middle was, if I'm being honest with you, but I did read a lot. So quickly, just the last couple things I read today. I finished Soft Science. I actually joined Meg did, let me sit up a little, sorry. Meg did a reading sprints this morning, and I sat and finished this and started Small Spaces, but yeah, I ended up really liking this. I don't think I could possibly explain to you what this was or what the poetry meant. I know it made me feel things. At some points I got really angry or upset or really sad. There was like a profound emotional reaction to these poems, even if I had no idea what they were saying. I'm definitely going to reread this before I return it to the library, probably on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday I'll go to the library. So I'll reread it at least one more time before then, because I really did like this and want to understand it more. Yeah, all right. And then I started and finished In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and illustrated by Jen Wang. I originally discovered this book because Jen Wang, the illustrator, but then recently in a vlog that should be coming up well, whenever I get the last book for it, Cory Doctorow came up. So glad I read this. It is not the book I was expecting this to be. I don't know how I misunderstood what this book was, but I did. But this is about a young girl who gets kind of invited to be in an online community, and then she starts getting paid to take down gold miners, like people that like just mine gold to sell for real money, and then finds out that some people live life a little differently than she does, and then she helps them unionize. It was weird. It was I liked most of it. I liked what it was trying to say. I didn't like the ending. The ending was a little too cut and dry, not acknowledging the realities of situations for people. But in a an almost fantasy-like, imagining the best situation, it was cute. And I just love this art style. Like, it's just so incredibly gorgeous. Like, I don't know. I love this art style. So, I had fun with this. With that, I almost finished my bingo board. The only thing I didn't get to finish on here was Host Fave. I didn't quite get to one by one. I didn't quite get to one by one, which is somebody's fave. I don't remember whose it was. But I will be starting this tonight, and so that would let me finish that bingo board, and I'm kind of hype about it. So this will be the last thing I read for today. I did start for an audiobook. I started Small Spaces by Catherine Arden, and then I'm still reading The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kahn, but enjoying both of those so far. So it's been a good weekend for reading, a good weekend outside of reading, and I hope you all had a wonderful time too. Hopefully this is up on Monday and I edited quickly. All right, love y'all, bye.